Hello, horror heads, and welcome to episode 53 of The Graveyard Shift. I'm Sheldon, and definitely not Mike doing a bad Sheldon impression. Actually, it is me. But don't worry, Sheldon is actually just on vacation and alive. I have not killed him and replaced him with another co-host. To that end, please welcome my new co-host, Robin.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
Glad to have you. You really came in handy for the Bubba Hotep episode, and so we just thought, well, we need another maritimer. He fills the quota. He's the affirmative action hire.
Yes, I hope I could fill Sheldon's shoes, but I'm glad to be on, and hopefully I'll do as good a job as he usually does.
Yes, this is the 53rd episode. This is the first episode of the new year of the Graveyard Shift. Woohoo!
Wow.
It's been an actual year since we decided, hey, let's talk about horror movies and, come up with some goofy skits. And a year later, we're still doing it.
Oh, yeah. Still going strong.
Today's episode is The Real Animal House, because we watched You're Next. So, Robin, how about you tell us a little bit about the movie itself, since I can't be bothered to do research.
Well, sure. It's a movie that came out in 2011. It premiered at the Toronto Film Festivals and then was released to the mass market in 2013. Grossed over $26 million at the box office, gained a cult following since then. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a critic score of 76 and an audience score of 59, which feels a little low to me. I felt it warranted that. Better than that, I mean.
Yeah, what the hell were they expecting?
Yeah.
Because I saw the trailer and thought, this looks like a good movie. And then I saw the movie and I'm like, this is a great movie.
Yeah, I've seen this a few times before I brought it up for us to watch. You watched it for the first time, though, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, this was my first time, and oh, boy, was I surprised.
Yeah, and besides all that, it was rated a 6.5 on Internet Movie Database, but it goes to show you, what do these people know? Because I thought this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, who the hell is disappointed in this movie, for fuck's sakes? Well, let's get into the plot of the movie. Okay, I'll handle the synopsis and you'll let me know if I fuck up. Okay, so. A man brings his girlfriend over to family dinner. Chaos ensues when the house is under siege by armed men in animal masks. A simple home invasion turns chaotic when things go horribly wrong and the hunters become the hunted.
Yeah, they really do.
If you're new to the show, what we do is we review horror movies based on audience suggestions or whatever we darn well feel like. We break down every movie into bite-sized pieces, and we talk about the good parts that we loved, the bad parts which we felt took away from the plot, or we just couldn't figure out how it justified itself in the movie, and then we dabble into the third category, what the fuck, where something we can't really classify as good or bad, but we are still baffled and need to speak about it. So, we start with the good, and as always, we start with the mic. And I just gotta say, my first good, tits right away. Like as soon as the movie begins, we get some titties. And unfortunately, the lady that they're attached to seems pretty darn disappointed because she's getting laid. The guy gets off of her to go take a shower, and she just grabs a bit of orange juice, and she's got this look on her face like, this is my fucking life. Somebody kill me.
Yeah, then somebody obliges, yeah. Yeah, that's a great opening scene, too. That's one of my likes, is just like that whole scene altogether to set the mood.
Oh, yeah! Within the first 5 minutes, bam! We've got somebody killed.
Yeah.
She's off screen, sadly, but she's discovered immediately, and that screen is it's somewhat off screen, but enough to let you know that this guy is fucking DEAD dead.
Yes, and right before he gets killed, he sees the words "You're next" written on the glass window.
So we get the credits in the movie itself.
Yeah.
In the first kill, so I gotta say, this movie's off to a fantastic start. Robin, what's your first good?
Well, besides, like I said, mentioned the opening scene, I thought it was really good when the carnage actually starts too, when the family all shows up and they're sitting at the dinner table, and then the one guy starts looking out the window, he's like, oh, what's that? Then boom, an arrow comes through and just gets him right in the head. And nobody notices right away either.
Nobody notices the sound of shattered glass because they're too busy screaming at each other.
Yeah.
I love, like, you already sniped my second good, which was that shit hits the fan in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah. They get right to it.
Within half an hour, everyone's already up to speed. We are being fucking hunted. There are bodies dropping. Oh my fuck. Like within 30 seconds, which is enough time in any movie to establish characters, scenery, mood, interpersonal dynamics. You've got enough time to set up your characters in the first 30 minutes, and if it takes you longer to do that, you're fucking up.
Yeah, we get a little intro to everybody before they start killing them. Pretty much all we needed to know. We learned the family dynamic and why they're there. We learn who everybody is, and all of a sudden it's just like a switch goes off. It's like, now everybody's dying.
Who's antagonistic? Who's an asshole? Who in the family is a floor mat? Who's a weak link? Like, who do you just know is definitely going to die because they cannot hold their shit together at dinner, let alone during a siege.
Yeah.
Which I'll follow up with my next good, which was one particular line where the brother talks about how he's going to go out, run to the car, and the obviously most athletic brother, who is wounded by an arrow, says, "What do you know about running, you fat fuck?" And he's like, "I'm not fat anymore." They're being attacked by an unknown amount of strangers with crossbows outside their house, and they're still sniping at each other. Like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, like even when they try to call on their cell phone, the one brother says, they must have a cell phone jammer. You could buy them online. It's like, oh, you know a lot about this criminal stuff, do you?
Yeah, it's like, just because I'm aware of shit doesn't mean that I've got like a trunk load of them in my car that I sell to Armenians, or like what the fuck do you think I do for, like, just because I'm aware of shit doesn't mean I participate in it.
Yeah, even under siege, they can't stop fighting.
Yeah, at this point, I'm just thinking, like, I wouldn't be surprised if one of them hired these killers just so that they wouldn't have to deal with these family dinners anymore.
Yeah. Had enough of these people.
And I'm not that far off.
No, you're not.
Clearly, not much love lost. But what's your next good?
Well, leading off of the one you just said, before they're getting ready to run out, there's this one daughter's like, okay, she's the one who's going to run. So they do this whole big build up. She's stretching. She's cracking her neck before she runs. She's running in slow motion towards the door. Then the note I wrote down was just, boing. Because she hits a piano wire that's across the door and slits her throat and falls over dead. Oh my god, I had to pause it.
Oh man, that's my next good.
Yeah.
We are in weight. It's troubling how much in sync we are.
Yeah, we're too agreeable. Too different from Sheldon's here. Yeah.
My note is, oh shit, piano wire door. I honestly was expecting that door to fly open and the killer would just be standing at the door and shooting her with an arrow.
Yeah.
That's what I expected. I expected her to run into an arrow. But no, that piano wire was such an amazing twist.
Yeah, oh yeah, I love that. It was a creative kill, which I really liked. Like the note I wrote down literally was just boing, and I think that just explains it all.
And my next good is not Rashida Jones, which is the Australian Barbie that
Erin.
that is the absolute star of this show, Erin, who is the girlfriend of not Kevin Smith. And she's a capable, kick-ass gal. She gets her first kill. The brother who is with her is saying, oh, well, Kelly's dead, but, I'm sure, talking about her boyfriend. Oh, I'm sure he's fine. He's tough. And she just looks at him and says, no, he's not.
Yeah.
But neither are you, by the way. Thanks for the help.
Yeah, like, to even point out, like, he didn't even know that she was, like, this big hardcore survivalist. So, like, when the shit starts happening in the dinner scene, immediately she's, like, jumps right to charge. Like, okay, do this, get out of here, do this,
Yeah, she grabs weapons, secures the doors. Someone tries to come in through the window, and she just immediately knifes that guy in the arm. And instead of screaming or, what am I going to do? Like every time you see in a horror movie when some girl gets the slight advantage over the killer, She ruins it by screaming and crying, and then he just grabs the knife and then and says like, "Oh, allow me to return this to you," and then he does. But no, this time she stabs a guy in the arm, and immediately only turns around not to run away or cry or scream in the corner while he gets the knife. She immediately runs to get a cleaver to finish the fucker off. Like, this girl does what you should do in a life or death situation and not think like Prey.
Yeah, as far as like
And
most horror damsels go, she's pretty kick-ass.
yeah, she immediately grabs the cleaver and he's gone. But, you can't fault her for that. She did what she was supposed to do. Pin the guy down, then immediately look for something to finish him off with. So, Aaron, in this movie, complete action hero, like an excellent damsel in distress who's just like, you know what, fuck the hero, I'm gonna get myself out of this mess.
Oh yeah, she don't need anybody for this, and nobody was any help to her anyway.
No. So what's your next good?
My next good is it's a little based on what you said earlier. The only note I wrote down was the "I'm not feeling this right now," where the one brother is trying to get with his wife, but she's not interested. We get a little flash of the boob, then he just gives her this dirty look like, "You're gonna fucking be dead soon," and then she is.
Yeah, he's just trying to get a little bit of titty, and she ain't feeling it.
Maybe she knew she was in a slasher and like, no, we can't have sex, but they die anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, this whole movie seems to be theming itself around disappointing sex.
Yeah.
I gotta say, overall, the twists and the kills in this movie, every time I think, oh, this person's gonna die, I'm usually right. But how they get killed is so out of left field that it is just actually surprising and engaging, even when you're just like, I saw this coming, but wow, not like this.
Yeah, you know somebody's dead, but you don't see it coming how they're going to do it. Like, they don't just do the easy ways. They actually are pretty creative with the kills.
Yeah, like one guy, like when, what was the girl? Kelly, this girl, Kelly, she does run out of the house under the wire. And instead of running to the cars, she just decides, I'm going to go lose these guys with crossbows in the woods. And she finds the neighbor's house. I guess she wants to like call 911 from their place or whatever. And we get to see the reflection of was it the lamb?
Yep, the lamb follows her.
Yep, she gets a reflection of the guy with the lamb mask. And I just think, oh, he's going to knife her and we're going to see like blood smear down the glass as she falls down. No, he punches her in the fucking face so hard it sends her through the glass. And then he just knocks her around the damn living room until he eventually he practices his golf swing with an axe in her skull.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just sits down on the couch and just takes a nice breather.
That took a lot out of him, I'm sure.
I got to get my heart rate down. I got to get my BP in check.
Take a little rest. I mean, you're running through the woods. That's tiring.
Yeah, it's just like I gotta keep my cardio in check.
Yeah, I actually wrote that down in one of my bads. Was what happens with Kelly, because she earlier, like, the mother is killed and Kelly's left alone in the room. She gets this odd feeling. She looks under the bed, then she sees the wolf guys hiding under the bed. Instead of warning the family, she just runs out the door screaming anyway. I'll probably give that in more detail when we get to the bed. So I'm just like, oh, come on, Kelly, just say, oh, somebody, he's up there. No, she just left.
Like, fuck you guys. I'm taking my chances in the woods with X amount of killers.
Yeah.
So, when the dad is checking out the upstairs, like, he knows that there's a killer upstairs, so he's got his son and his girlfriend. He's checking out the floors, and we get to see a little bit of realism, because it makes you wonder, like, if this guy's been hiding in the house all this time, how did nobody ever hear, like, toilets flushing? Because, you know, when you're at a stakeout, you gotta go. So he actually finds a full stakeout room with wrappers, water bottles, and piss bottles.
Yeah. Lemonade.
So it actually justified the hiding. It made it so realistic.
Yeah, like I'm assuming these are guys that know how to like be quiet and do stealthy things, like stealth missions and stuff. Like we established that they are ex-military after a while. Like we don't know like what part, but obviously this is something that they're good at.
Yeah, and it shows why he never had to leave the room. Because he just did all his business in that room. I'm just glad he didn't find a deuce in the corner.
Yeah, there was a bucket in the corner. Yeah.
So, what's your next good?
Well, my next good, I'm going to say, we talked about this earlier, the ending. The ending scene.
Yeah, that's my last good.
Yeah.
Which is the ending and the end credits.
Yeah.
Usually it's the opening credits for a movie that gets me, but no. This was a nice switch because everything about this movie is an excellent twist. It's the end credits, which are just amazing. And, spoiler alert, a cop shows up at the end, and...
Well, the twist is we find out that her boyfriend was one of the people in on everything that was going on, and she confronts him about it. Then she kills him. Then as she's standing over the body, a gunshot goes off and she falls over. The cops show up and shoot her.
Which, when I was watching this movie, I was just saying, you know what, if the cops show up and they find her slashing through all these assholes, they're really going to get the wrong idea.
Yeah. Yeah, because all throughout the movie, they're trying to call the cops, but the cell phone is jammed. But then a call actually does manage to get through, but it kind of gets forgotten about. And that's what happens then. Like, after everybody's dead, she's the last one standing. All of a sudden, the cop shoots her because she's standing over everybody's dead bodies.
Well, he sees her literally stabbing a guy in the throat.
Yeah, stabbing him.
So, of course, he's just like, well, I guess we found our killer. Because I'm watching her kill somebody.
Yeah, and then earlier in the movie, she sets up a bunch of Home Alone traps, including at the front door. So after the cop comes in, there's this axe trap set up there. So it opens the door, and down comes the axe. That's the last thing we see. As she's trying to warn the cop not to come in.
It splashes into the end credits with a massive blood wave saying, you're next.
Yeah, that was great.
And then we get to see her, a picture of her, a Polaroid of her saying suspect.
Yeah.
And then we get to see all the dead bodies, which is everybody else in this fucking movie, one by one, with a Polaroid of their corpse next to their casting name, like the name of the character and the actor playing them, which is great. And it's playing this fantastic movie. Would you see, like, what was it, blueprints or sketches along with Polaroids? Basically, like all the cop dossiers and stuff. Like, it's letting you know that she's been brought in and she's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
For something that the only thing she did wrong was survive.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like she's taking the blame.
Well, you show up and there's a dead cop on site. And, a trap was laid for him. This really does look... I mean, there's no way around it. This looks really fucking bad.
Yeah, it's just, you got a lot of explaining to do, that's for sure.
And, my last good was that when the brother Felix, it's revealed when the father is killed in front of the brother, he does nothing to help. And it becomes obvious that one of the sons is in on this whole family massacre. They're being hunted, and the brother's in on it. And he eventually takes his girlfriend into a room, and he turns into this, for a criminal mastermind, he turns into such a fucking sissy.
Yeah.
Because the girlfriend's just like, all this mass murder and getting away with all this shit is really making me horny. And he's like... I just had to stab my brother. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm bringing that up in the what the fucks, actually. There's a part of that. You could probably guess.
Okay, maybe I'll just save that for... I'll just save that just in case you slightly missed something. Okay, so I'm all out of goods. What about you? How many are you left?
That's my major one, so yeah, that's all my goods.
So, now the hard part,
Yeah.
The bad. A movie like this, I don't know why everyone else had such a bad opinion of it on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. This had very few bads for me.
Yeah, I had to really stretch to come up with a couple.
Well, since I started with the good, I'll let you start with the bad.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, just stupid people being stupid and getting themselves killed. Like what happened to the Drake's wife when she runs out and gets caught up by the lamb and all that. Like I said, instead of warning people saying, "Oh shit, the guy's up here," she just runs out herself, runs past everybody. They're like, "What was that about?" And then she runs out and she gets caught. And then the next note I wrote down was just 4. But she kind of brought it on herself because of that. So
Yeah, you leave everyone else to die, you pretty much bring it on yourself.
yeah, and like everybody, the rest of the family was pretty useless except for Erin anyway. So she's the only one who seemed to know what they were doing.
Yeah, like at least like they justified a lot, like why some of the people in the family were useless. Like there's a big strong brother, but it would become obvious like why wouldn't he fight back? So they justify that by plugging him with an arrow right off the bat. And that's one of my first bads is the fucking mom in this is dead weight.
Oh yeah.
Arrows start flying, and while everyone else hits the deck, she's just standing up, hammer like stunned, like someone whacked her on the head with a hammer. And the son, the big strong son, like the favorite in the family, he just runs up to mom to try to bring her down. She won't, like she'll just stand there, so she doesn't like even let herself get tackled. And so he gets plugged with an arrow in the back. And she just like stands there, just completely shut down. The only good thing about this is that we don't have to deal with her for long.
Yeah, she gets it pretty fast at least.
Yeah, so the big strong brother is crippled by an arrow, and immediately that follows up with my next bat, so I'll let you come up with something.
For the next one, I kind of thought that, I know earlier in the movie before all the killing starts, they established the 2 main brothers, like Aaron's boyfriend, whose name I forget off the top of my head, and Drake.
Not Kevin Smith.
Yeah, not Kevin Smith. And Drake, the other one, the taller one. So, like, we established their relationship, but then, like, when the sister and her boyfriend and Felix and Z show up at the same time, it's straight to the dinner, then the killing starts, I feel like it caused them to be underdeveloped. Like, I felt like we didn't get to see enough of them, and especially seeing Felix ends up being the mastermind, we probably should have established his relationship with the family more.
Well, I think it kind of makes sense in a way that he doesn't really seem to matter in this crowded family, which is all noisy and chaotic and slapping with each other.
Yeah, I guess
so. They just kind of ignore him. So with the movie basically ignoring him, it seems to be a theme that follows.
Yeah, that makes sense then. He's the one who's going to decide to kill everybody because he's such a non-factor. He's probably less attached.
Yeah, it's just like, I grew up around these assholes, but I can't really say I grew up with them.
Yeah. Like I said, I really had to stretch to get some dislikes.
Also, my next bad, when the brother is all, like, in intense agony and, like, maybe going into shock because of the pain. Because, where would you say he caught that arrow? The trapezius muscle?
Sure, in the back shoulder at least.
Yeah, the back shoulder area. And, that's pretty much a muscle that's always moving. Because the second you move your arms, that's also, like, moving your back.
Yeah.
So, if this guy's going to be using his arms, or really doing anything, or even standing uses your back muscles.
Yeah, he was fine for quite a while, wasn't he?
Well, that's because they doped him up with pills, and that's my bad. Because they hand him pills, and what does he do? He just tosses them in his mouth, and... Because, everybody has a very moist mouth when they're under extreme stress, in pain, and losing blood. Nobody has dry mouth.
No, that's valid.
Like, again, you're, like... Give him anything, even wine, even though you're not supposed to take wine with this shit. Like, it would justify him being fucked up throughout the rest of the movie anyway, because he's already taken way too many pills.
Yeah, instead when he runs out, he touches his arrow on the wire that killed his sister earlier, which was also funny, and then he turns around and pulls it out. Then he falls over.
He tries to bend over the wire,
yeah,
and he mostly does, except he didn't take into account that you now have an arrow sticking in your back.
Yeah.
Only when that catches the wire, and he's like, "Ah!" And then he's just like, no, nobody is fucking helping me. I've had like 3 women like grabbing my back, basically pawing at my back, but none of them pull out the fucking arrow.
No.
So I've got to do this shit myself because I'm surrounded by women in horror movies, which are useless. And I guess Erin was too busy securing the house because she would have taken care of that arrow right away.
Yeah, she would have known what to do at least.
Yeah, like at least snap. Like if she knew that like he'd be bleeding if you take the. Well, no, it didn't have a. It didn't have like a serrated head on it. It was just a shaft, right?
Yeah, I think it was just a regular old bolt from a crossbow.
Yeah, well, some of them have like those 4-angled heads with serrated tips.
Oh yeah. I don't think they had that.
So that they just shred everything when you pull them out. But no, this didn't have any of those heads on it. It looked like it was just like just a shaft. Because he pulls it down and stares at it, and he's just like, oh, well, it's not in me anymore. So now I've taken out the cork and I'm fucking bleeding. Sleepy time now.
Yeah.
And he faints. So the biggest, strongest guy who would have been the most capable resistance is immediately been taken out, which I think is good writing on their part. Because, they really had to explain why in this entire family is Aaron the only one with any sense or bravery taking these guys on. So they did to me, it's just great writing. But yeah, dry pills, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Any more bads?
I just got one more, just kind of where the plot of the movie might fall apart a little. It's like we got these trained military mercenaries falling for a bunch of Home Alone traps from like one girl. Like these guys should know what they're doing a little more, and they're like stepping on nails and might as well put paint cans down. They get hit by them too. Like,
Yeah.
like you'd think they'd be more prepared.
Well, I don't think any American military can properly train against Australian women.
No.
I mean, unless they hold military exercises in the outback, you really can't prepare for what Australia will throw at you.
No, I mean, she's used to like giant spiders and stuff, so I guess she's at the advantage.
Yeah, this woman has probably killed kangaroos with her bare hands.
Yeah.
So, like, well, they do try. I mean, when the guys come in through the window, like what was it, the lamb? Yeah, because after he throws Kelly's body through the window and climbs over it so that he doesn't get any of the glass, which is smart thinking.
Yeah.
And he looks out he looks through the window, sees some boards that are nailed, and he's just like, oh, okay, so I'm gonna like tuck my legs in close to the window. And he can't see through that, and he can't see over the body or whatever. So that one, like, that justifies where he fell for the nail in the board that was right directly under the window, because he thought he was getting past the one that was slightly in front of the floor.
Yeah, he thought he was clever.
Yeah, but she was cleverer.
Yeah. Yeah, or like the one too that comes through with the hammer, and then she kicks him in the nuts, then kills him with another hammer.
Oh, fuck. That was such a good... can't believe I didn't put that in the goods.
It was satisfying, though. Yeah.
The first time we get to see her fight back, and we're just like, oh, please don't tell me this capable one is going to die. Immediately, this guy comes at her from behind, knocks her to the floor, and instead of just, crying like a bitch, waiting to get hit with an axe, she immediately lifts up a leg, kicks him in the balls, and when he's doubled over in pain and stunned, she grabs a meat tenderizer, whacks him in the kneecap with it, crippling him, and then when he falls to the floor, she immediately whacks him in the back of the head until he don't move no more. And I'm like, yes!
All while Felix and Z are just watching. At this point, we don't know that they're in on it, so it just seems like they're just useless.
Oh yeah, and then she's just like, thanks for the help, by the way.
Yeah. She even got the one-liners down. That's how great she is. Like, she should have looked at the camera and said, that was hammer time.
Yeah, just turn her into Deadpool.
Yeah. I'll say female Bruce Campbell.
Bryce Campbell.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so my final bad is, again, they all seem to be revolving around the big brother. when he's got the arrow and all the women are pawing at him and they're screaming all around him. And the only one not screaming is Aaron. Everyone else is just completely losing their shit. And I was just thinking, yeah, screaming over a bleeding person is really going to help coagulate that blood.
Yeah.
Like, I can get you're being scared and terrified, but be terrified, quietly.
Yeah, you think one of them would have, like, taken a first aid course or something.
Are you kidding? They're rich people. They got help for that.
Yeah.
So if you're out of bed and I'm out of bed, I guess we're going to go take a trip to What the Fuck Town.
Yes.
And my first what the fuck is Felix is a shitty accomplice.
Yeah.
He doesn't offer any assistance to the who was the first one to get killed? The fox?
The tiger.
No, the wolf was.
The wolf was under the bed. Yeah. I think Tiger's the one who got kicked in the nuts and killed with the hammer.
Yeah. And so Felix does nothing to help him, even though they could have just taken out Aaron at that point since she's busy. And no one else was around, but he didn't do that. And also when he meets, what was it? Wolf? The guy that killed the dad?
Yeah.
All these masks kind of look the same. And he just says, oh yeah, by the way, she's downstairs. Never bothers to prepare this guy. Oh, by the way, your brother's dead.
Yeah.
Which would have been a decent warning to your friend. But he's like, no, you got a bit of my dad's blood on me. And I gotta go wash that out because it's the only thing I can think about. No, oh, by the way, one of them is extremely dangerous and killed your brother. Like, would it have taken anything to say, like, I should prepare you for what you're going to meet down there?
Yeah, they could have ganged up on her, too.
Yeah. He could have just said, like, let's go, I'm going to go lure her to you in the room. You wait behind. No, Felix does fuck all. He thinks, I'm paying you. Why should I help you at fucking all? It's not like your success. It's not like my goals hinge on your success.
Well, even when Felix has to kill his own brother, he's like, why are you looking at me like that? Why won't you die? This is hard on me, is what he says.
Yeah. Don't you know how hard this is on me? And, well, that's my next what the fuck, which was that, the drugged up brother can't scream while Felix is unloading like 5 different tools into his chest. If he stabbed him in the throat first, and then he just like grabs a few tools right away, that's fine. But it's like he's standing there while the guy is stabbing him, and Felix is just like, why won't this fucker drop?
Yeah, and like, why doesn't he just kick his ass? I'm pretty sure he's had to kick Felix's ass before.
Yeah, I get like, oh, you're drugged, so maybe you're not putting up a fight. But put up a fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a great fight, because I get it, you're wounded, you're in shock, and you're drugged. You're not going to put up a great fight, and you still will die, but, fucking try. Scream, call for help. If he stabbed him in the throat first, and then went into him, then I would get that. But no, the fact he's like, what, you stabbed me. Not like, I'm going to call for help, and also kick your fucking ass, you little asshole.
Yeah. I'm going to pin you down.
So what about you?
Well, mine is based on what we were talking about earlier, when we find out that Felix and Z were in on it and they were talking to the wolf mask guy up in the bedroom. Then all of a sudden Z, the girlfriend, gets all hot and bothered. He's like, oh, do me here, on the bed with his dead mother there. He's like, no, I don't think I could do this. I'm not into this. She's just like, no, bullshit, you're into this. Look, do me on the bed with your dead mother is exactly what she says.
The whole exchange is my last what the fuck, which is, you never do anything fun.
Yes, that's it.
Oh, come on, that's not a fair criticism. Then fuck me next to your dead mom.
Yeah, so part of me thinks that Z was probably the mastermind for most of this. She seems pretty bloodthirsty.
Oh yeah, like she kind of looks like if Death was a character in a Wes Anderson movie, it would look like her.
Yeah.
So I'm all out of what the fucks at this
Well,
point.
I've got
How
one
about
more
you?
then. I got one more.
Yay.
Okay, like later when Aaron figures out everything that's going on, and Z and Felix are confronting her in the kitchen. The other killers are already dead at this point, and then she cracks a blender over. Like the blender gets smashed, so she puts the blender down on his skull and then turns it on to kill him. Part of me questioned that a little.
What's the question? You can't shove a face into a blender. It would be stopped by the container. So you have to destroy the container and just put the blades the blades are just like head on, applied directly to the forehead.
Yeah, those are some strong blades, though. They pretty much just puree his entire brain, and then
This is your brain. This is your brain on puree.
and then
Any questions?
Yeah.
Besides, how did I settle for your brother?
Yeah. And then later, when she finds out that her boyfriend was in on it, she's like, calls her on the cell phone, reveals the entire plot. And then when she confronts him, stands in front of him, he's like, "Where's Felix?" "Well, I killed him with the blender." Or I stuck the blender on his head and killed him. "Oh, and where's Z? I killed her too."
I stabbed her in the head. Yeah, and I gotta admit, sometimes in movies like this, when a killer gets caught, they still say the stupidest things, like, "Why don't you just die like the bitch you are?"
Yeah.
Like, they're overwhelmed with such confidence, they just talk to people like they're subhuman prey. Like, why don't you just accept that you're prey? Because I'm rich and I'm important. I would get away with this. You wouldn't. But no, he tries to talk to her like a person. And he's just like, "Oh no, my plan was that you would survive. I just, didn't tell you about it. And also, this doesn't take into account that everyone around still tried to fucking kill you."
Yeah, I think she saw through that.
Yeah, and that's when she just looks at him, lets him get in close, and then just stabs him in the neck.
Yeah. And then she gets shot.
Yep. So, I think that's our coverage, or at least our dissection for this movie. Overall thoughts, I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, it was great. Like I said, I've watched it a couple times before. It's pretty fun.
Yep, and despite the reviews, I would heavily recommend this, and, sometimes people are stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what they expected watching a movie like this. I mean, you got the guy in the front cover looking like a member of the Wyatt family. I don't know if you follow wrestling, but there's a wrestler that wears the lamb mask that looks kind of like that character.
Oh, it would have been great if she ended up suplexing him into a buzzsaw or
Oh
something.
yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
So,
I guess this could lead into your particular segment because I know you got some great choices.
oh yes, the chaos and carnage abounds for this week's kill of the week. And she's luring the wolf mask killer into the basement, and she disorients him perfectly by putting a flash timer on her camera.
Oh yeah.
And so he's walking through the basement, and he's just getting blinded by the strobe. And that's when she just closes the distance and fucking murders the hell out of him. And the tiger getting tenderized was pretty top-notch.
Would you go so far to say that kill was great?
But it was great. But the kill of the week goes to, this is your brain. This is your brain on puree.
It's a good choice. Like there was a lot of good choices for this one. Like they really
And they were all done by her.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the hero of the movie, she kills half the people in this movie. This is fucking great.
Yeah.
So I gotta go for that. Did you have any particular kills?
I'm gonna say that when the lady runs out the door and gets caught by the wire. I always love that one.
It's
Just because it was so
simple, but
unexpected.
surprising.
Yeah. I didn't see it coming. So. Well, neither did she.
Well, this movie was pretty darn great. Good resolution. The worst comes to pass. The police show up, and immediately thinks she's the killer. And she does nothing to help her case by accidentally killing the police officer.
No, not at all.
So I'd have to wonder what exactly would have happened afterwards. And funny thing is, we found an extra on the DVD that actually does explain what happened when she was brought in.
Oh, really?
And indeed. And this, I can understand why it would have deflated the movie ending on the sting. So I can appreciate why it was cut out. But it still makes a great placement on this week's It Came from the Cutting Room Floor.
Hey, man, come here for a bit. I need your help with this.
Okay, so who do we have in the interrogation room? Oh, is that the sole survivor of the mass murder-suicide thing at the Rich family house?
Yeah, Aaron something. There was 15 bodies, including 2 neighbors and Terry, who took the call. Forensics is going to have to call a triple shift to suss this out, man.
Okay, so this witness report here says 3 armed commandos killed the family except for the brothers and an accomplice who hired them. So, did it turn into a free-for-all to get the money and she just finished off the last one standing?
No, apparently she killed all the killers, and she set up this Home Alone axe trap, and that's what killed the responding officer. She went into detail, but I had to leave the room with dry heaves when she mentions killing the first guy with a meat hammer.
What? You said the sons were all in on it?
No, just 2 brothers and one of their girlfriends. She was the other brother's girlfriend who turned on him.
So how does she inherit anything if she's not family?
Oh, she says he didn't tell her anything. That's why she killed him.
Huh, so she could have kept the money if she kept her mouth shut. Well, you got to admire her principles. So, what do you need help with?
I did some quick checks on the attackers. Apparently they all served in the military. They all got their asses handed to them by the Aussie Barbie in there. I sent a medic in there to patch up her leg, but she just took the supplies, cleaned or stitched herself, and those dry heaves weren't so dry anymore. So I need you to get some more of her statement while I clutch my knees and cry in the corner.
Okay, man, I'll try to figure out who killed who and we'll see if the evidence backs her up later. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Did she tell you how she managed to survive a siege by trained and coordinated soldiers with 3 inside men?
Yeah. Oh, fuck. All she said was that she was raised in the Australian outback by a survivalist, which is saying something because that's where God sends all of his nightmares.
Did she tell you which of the commandos killed the kitchen couple?
It was her. 3 commandos, 2 brothers, the goth chick, and Terry she admits to setting up the axe, but he was an accident. That's 7 out of 15 deaths, all by her. I mean, motherfuck. Justifiable homicide or not, it just might be safer for us if we locked her up. But at this point, I'm not convinced she isn't a Terminator, and we all know how well police stations fare against those things.
Yeah, if I wanted to deal with this shit, I would have stayed in Crystal Lake. Oh,
And wow,
that was interesting.
Apparently, apparently Terminators and Jason Voorhees are real in this universe, which she would make great company with them.
Yeah, she'd give either one a run for their money.
Well, that's it for this week, but we're not quite done yet. If you have money and you want to give us money, you can support our show at patreon.com/graveyard, where you can, for as little as $1 a month, you can get bonus episodes. Every month we put out a bonus episode, whether it's about a top 10 list, us playing a horror video game, or just giving an extended synopsis, a play-by-play of a movie. You can go check that out and enjoy it. We'll be working on other rewards. If you have any ideas or incentives that you think would be worth it, that would be worth us putting on our Patreon, let us know. We're open to suggestions. And if, money's tight, which, we understand, then you can still support the show by rating us on iTunes or just word of mouth, letting people know we exist. Stitcher, Google Play, anywhere you get podcasts, iTunes, just let people know we exist out. Just tell them about our Facebook page, facebook.com/the Graveyard Shift Pod. We share plenty of non-movie stuff there, just regular horror goodness, scary, funny bits, pictures. We also share my thoughts and screenshots where I will just share the same screenshots that I send to Sheldon when he's at work, or to Robin when he takes over Sheldon's co-hosting duties. And you can also check us out at Instagram at the Graveyard Shift Pod, where you can also see plenty of hilarious photos that we love to share because we are hilarious sons of bitches who love horror movie stuff. And you can also check out my other podcasts, the Playing with Power podcast, where we talk about Nintendo Power Magazine each and every issue. And in that feed, we also have the Taste Test, where me and my co-hosts will play old Nintendo games and throw in food jokes and skits, because it was the first show I did my skits on, and it was pretty funny. It still is pretty funny because the show's still going. Why am I using the past tense? I am terrible. Also, I am reviving the Technobabble podcast, which was my very first podcast, and the impetus and the blame for all subsequent podcasts, including this one, stem from that. And that is available on Geek Fallout Productions on Facebook and anywhere you get podcasts. It's not called Technobabble because there is a bunch of other shows in the archives, but the only new show being produced is Technobabble, where we talk about technology, science, technology, chemistry, science, biology, and science. Did I say science? Probably not. So, science! We talk about that and the myriad ways that new developments will either save or destroy our way of life. So, Robin, do you have any presence on the internet or things to plug?
Not really. I have a Twitter that I don't even use anymore. I don't really have my own show or anything, so... Maybe someday, though. It is something I've thought about doing.
And you'll probably have me do it because I'm just not doing enough podcasts.
Yeah, there you go. Is that an offer?
Depends on the subject.
Yes. No, but it was great to be on again. I was glad when Sheldon asked me to come fill in for him, and I had a lot of fun doing this. I enjoy this every time I am on here with you guys. Something I do like to talk about.
Yeah, it's great to have you too. I'm just surprised there's not more horror podcasts out there. There probably are, but I don't look for them. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is the only horror humor podcast out there worth listening to.
And it was a good excuse to watch this movie again, too.
Oh, as if you needed a reason. This movie's great.
Yeah.
Again, people, can't check it out. You're Next, 2011. Check it. So, that seems to wrap up this episode. I'm Mike.
And I'm Robin.
And thank you for joining us on The Graveyard Shift.